Hello and welcome to the II Affairs podcast.
Good to be here.
So imagine spending 10 years writing a totally comprehensive encyclopedia. You pour your entire life into researching every tiny detail.
Right, a massive undertaking.
Yeah, and then a robot just wanders into your house, memorizes the entire thing in 3 seconds, and then stands out on the sidewalk giving away all your answers for free.
Oh, well, yeah, that's not great.
No, it's terrible. I mean, how long until you go bankrupt, right? So today's deep dive explores the escalating war over the internet's most valuable resource, which is human-created data.
Absolutely. The data is everything.
Exactly. For decades, the open web operated on a pretty simple contract. Creators provided information, and search engines provided traffic in return.
Yeah, a fair trade.
But AI has just completely shattered that contract by consuming content to provide direct answers. It leads to what economists are calling the referral deficit.
Right. That term is popping up everywhere now.
It really is. So in this deep dive, we are going to explore how publishers, technologists, and even Hollywood A-listers are, fighting back to reclaim control and compensation.
It's a massive pushback.
We're going to unpack the brand new, really simple licensing standard, the newly launched human consent standard, and how global regulations are colliding to shape the future of digital ownership.
It really is a profound structural shift. I mean, for the past 30 years, we built the internet around the concept of human attention, just eyeballs on a page.
Yeah, clicks and page views.
Exactly. But now we are watching the fundamental architecture of the web being rewritten in real time to accommodate machine consumption instead. And it is creating just massive economic friction.
Okay, let's unpack this, because we have to start with exactly why that old internet contract is completely broken.
Right.
To go back to that opening thought, it's essentially like running a public library. A robot comes in, reads every single book, memorizes them perfectly, and intercepts your patrons outside.
So they never even walk through the door.
Exactly. No one ever actually enters your library anymore. But the thing is, you still have to pay the heating bill. You still have to pay the librarians.
And those operational costs, I mean, that's the crux of the issue here. For a website owner, running that library is intensely expensive.
Oh, for sure.
You have massive server costs, cloud infrastructure, and, well, the salaries of the journalists or developers or creators who actually write the material.
You can't just run it for free.
Right. And historically, website owners operated on a binary choice. Option one was to leave the front door wide open. You allow automated bots from search engines to crawl your site, index your pages, and in exchange, they send human beings to your domain.
And those humans click on ads, right?
Exactly. They click on ads or buy subscriptions, and that keeps the lights on.
It's the classic symbiotic relationship. You index my stuff, I get your traffic. It worked for years.
It did. But look at how AI models fundamentally break that loop. Large language models and systems using RA, that's retrieval augmented generation, they do not behave like search engines.
Right, they're doing something totally different.
A RAG system actively scours the live web for data to formulate an answer, but it synthesizes that data internally. It doesn't give the user a list of blue links to click.
Yeah, you just get the paragraph.
Exactly. It just gives the user the final answer directly in a chat window. No clicks required.
Which creates that referral deficit. I mean, you are bearing all the massive infrastructure costs of hosting the data.
Right.
And honestly, your server bills might actually be going up because thousands of AI bots are constantly hammering your servers just to scrape your newest update.
Oh, they definitely are. It's a huge strain.
But you get absolutely zero downstream economic benefit because the human user never visits your site. I mean, think about your favorite niche cooking blog or independent local news site. If their web traffic drops to zero, how can those creators possibly survive?
Well, they cannot. The math simply no longer works. And option two, the other side of that old binary choice we talked about, is equally broken.
What was option two again?
Option two was to lock the door entirely. You put up a hard paywall or use a robots.txt file to tell all the bots to stay away.
Oh, right. But bots don't always listen.
Exactly. We saw how disastrous this was with Stack Overflow. They hold 15 years of highly technical, incredibly valuable developer Q&A content.
Which is like gold for AI training.
Pure gold. So when AI companies started scraping them to train coding assistants, Stack Overflow tried to play defense. They manually updated block lists just to keep unauthorized bots out.
I remember reading about that. It turned into a totally unwieldy game of whack-a-mole. You block one IP address, the bot network just shifts to another.
It is an impossible game to win at scale. A static text file politely telling bots to go away is, well, it's useless against a multi-billion-dollar tech company that's hungry for training data.
Yeah, they'll just find a way around it.
Right. And this complete failure of the binary open or block system is what directly birthed the need for a third path. The industry realized it couldn't be just yes or no anymore. It had to be yes if.
And that yes if brings us to a brand new vocabulary for the web. Really simple licensing, or RSL 1.0.
Yes.
Because if the old system is bankrupting publishers, they desperately needed a new framework to actually negotiate with these AI companies.
What's fascinating here is how the creation of RSL was spearheaded. It was driven by a nonprofit called the RSL Collective. It officially launched as a published specification in late 2025.
Okay. And there are some heavy hitters behind it, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's what gives it so much credibility. You have Eggart Walther, who co-created the original RSS standard that powered podcasts and blogs for decades.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he knows his stuff.
And Doug Leeds, the former CEO of Ask.com. I mean, these people understand internet plumbing.
So how does RSL actually work under the hood? I mean, we know it upgrades that old robots.txt file we just mentioned, but what does it practically do?
So it adds a machine-readable directive, simply called license, and instead of the blunt instrument of allow or disallow, publishers can now establish incredibly granular programmatic terms.
Granular, like...
Well, a publisher can stipulate that AI training is strictly prohibited. Yeah. Or they can allow ingestion, but only if the AI model guarantees cryptographic attribution.
So forcing them to cite their sources.
Exactly. Or, and this is the most disruptive part, they can require payment.
Wait, I want to pause on the payment aspect. I've read in the sources that there's a difference between pay-per-crawl and pay-per-inference.
Yes.
What is the actual mechanism there? Like, how does that work?
So pay-per-crawl is essentially a flat fee charged at the moment of ingestion.
Right.
The AI bot arrives, wants to read 1,000 articles, and pays a microtransaction just for access to that raw text.
Okay, that makes sense, like an entry ticket.
Right. But pay-per-inference is much more complex. It demands a micro-royalty every single time the AI's mathematical weights fire to generate an answer that relies on your specific data.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if a user asks a chatbot a question, and chatbot pulls from an article you wrote to formulate the answer, you get a fraction of a cent for that specific generation.
That sounds incredibly ambitious to track, but major players are already backing this, right?
They are.
I saw Reddit, Yahoo, Quora, Stack Overflow, and Vox Media have all signed on. And I love the structure of the RSL Collective itself. They are modeling themselves after ASCAP in the music industry.
Yes, the ASCAP model is a perfect comparison here.
Right, because ASCAP pools the negotiating power of thousands of songwriters, so a giant radio network can't just ignore them.
Exactly.
If 50,000 independent publishers unionize through the RSL Collective, they can negotiate fair market prices, collect revenue centrally, and distribute royalties. They are basically looking at a $100 billion AI market and building a pipe to funnel that back to the creators.
And that collective bargaining aspect is crucial, because a single independent blog cannot negotiate with OpenAI.
No way. They just get crushed.
Exactly. The RSL Collective creates a unified front.
But, okay, I have to push back here.
Sure.
Because RSL is essentially just an XML file on a server politely asking for money. And we know AI companies have ignored the rules before.
Oh, plenty of times.
Look at Perplexity. They were caught using stealth crawlers with spoofed identities. They disguised their bots to look like normal human users on Google Chrome, specifically to bypass no-crawl directives.
Yes. The stealth crawlers.
So if a tech monopoly decides they just really need your proprietary data to train their next frontier model, why would they voluntarily respect a text file that asks them to pay for it?
It is a vital question. You were pointing out the enforcement deficit.
Right.
Because a standard without teeth is literally just a suggestion. Relying on the honor system with automated web scrapers has historically been a losing game for publishers.
Totally.
The architects of RSL know this. They built underlying cryptographic protocols, the Open License Protocol, or OLP, and the Crawler Authorization Protocol, CAP, to verify these licenses.
Okay, acronym soup. But that's just code, right?
Exactly. Protocols alone are just math. Math doesn't stop a stealth crawler. Enforcing this standard actually requires muscle.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because the muscle isn't coming from the publishers at all. I mean, the publishers don't have the technical firepower. The muscle is coming from the infrastructure giants.
Yes. The plumbing of the internet itself is stepping in. Content delivery networks, or CDNs.
Like Cloudflare.
Exactly. Companies like Cloudflare, Fastly, and Akamai. They handle a massive percentage of all global web traffic, acting as a shield between the website and the wild internet.
Right.
And they have positioned themselves as the absolute gatekeepers in this new ecosystem.
So if RSL is the VIP list that says how much the cover charge is, Cloudflare and Fastly are the 250-pound bouncers at the door actually collecting the cash and checking IDs.
That's exactly it.
And if you don't pay up, they physically block your bot from entering the site.
And the mechanism they're using to collect that cash is fascinating. Cloudflare introduced a feature called pay-per-crawl, utilizing a long dormant part of the web's original architecture,
Which part?
the HTTP 402 status code.
Oh, HTTP 402. Everyone knows 404 means page not found, but 402 means payment required, right?
Exactly. It was baked into the Internet's design decades ago, but sat unused because there was never a standardized way to process micropayments at machine speed.
Oh, so it was just waiting for the tech to catch up.
Precisely. And now the technology is caught up. When an AI crawler attempts to scrape a site protected by Cloudflare, instead of issuing a blanket 403 forbidden block, the CDN hits the bot with an HTTP 402 code.
Okay.
It effectively says, "You are welcome to read this page, but it costs 2 cents.
But how does a bot actually pay 2 cents? Does it have like a corporate credit card?
Sort of. The AI company pre-funds a digital wallet with the CDN.
Oh, wow.
So when the bot gets hit with the 402 code, it instantly checks its parameters, agrees to the fee, and presents payment intent via cryptographic tokens in its request headers.
That is wild.
Cloudflare acts as the merchant of record, deducts the 2 cents, lets the bot through, aggregates all these micro events, and pays out the publisher at the end of the month.
And how long does that all take?
All of this negotiation happens in about 50 milliseconds.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is a staggering transformation.
It really is.
We are moving the internet away from a human-centric subscription model into a programmatic, machine-to-machine microtransaction economy.
Yes.
Because traditional paywalls require human friction. You have to type in an email, create an account, remember a password, pull out a physical credit card.
And a bot cannot navigate that friction.
Right. But with HTTP 402 and RSL, the machines negotiate the legal terms, transfer the funds, and grant access entirely in the background.
It creates a seamless pull mechanism. Value is exchanged instantly without human intervention.
Yeah.
And it finally makes the AI companies bear the true economic cost of the data they consume.
Okay, so that solves, or, at least attempts to solve the problem for articles, code, recipes, and traditional web pages.
Right.
But what happens when the asset isn't a text article? What happens when the asset is a person's face, or their voice,
Right.
or just their core human identity?
Well, human identity is not just raw material for unlimited data extraction.
Definitely not.
That ethical and legal line is what led to the launch of the Human Consent Standard, or HCS, in May of 2026.
Right, this is the Hollywood extension of the fight. It was launched by RSL Media, which is a public benefit nonprofit, co-founded by actress Cate Blanchett.
Yes.
They basically took this concept of machine-readable rules and applied it directly to human identity, and the backing they have secured is completely unprecedented.
Oh, it's a massive coalition.
George Clooney, Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, the Creative Artists Agency. This elevates the conversation from a niche tech policy debate into a massive mainstream cultural issue.
You really have to view this through the context of the past few years. Artists have been furious, and they are aggressively fighting back.
Yeah, they're not holding back anymore.
Scarlett Johansson's very public clash with OpenAI over a voice assistant that sounded eerily similar to hers was a massive wake-up call.
That was huge.
We watched Matthew McConaughey and Taylor Swift file trademarks for sound bites, specific vocal inflections, and photos just to build a legal fortress against unauthorized AI generation.
So how does the HCS actually build that fortress? What does it cover exactly?
The standard defines 4 specific machine-readable areas. First is creative works. So that's the actual performances, songs, and films.
Okay.
Second is identity, which encompasses a person's name, image, exact voice print, and physical movement data.
Like motion capture stuff.
Exactly. Third is characters, meaning the fictional figures and their distinct traits. And fourth is marks, which covers logos and brand identifiers.
But the crucial difference between RSL 1.0 and the HCS is how the permission actually travels, right?
That's the key.
Because with RSL, the rule applies to a specific URL. It lives on a server. But HCS is a portable right.
Yes.
I like to think of it as an invisible digital watermark tattooed onto your identity. Whether your photo is sitting on a massive corporate website or re-uploaded to a tiny fan blog, that watermark travels with the image. It's constantly broadcasting your specific rules to any AI trying to ingest it.
The portable nature of the right is its most powerful feature. They're launching a free public registry in June 2026.
Oh, nice.
And anyone, not just Hollywood actors, but you, listening to this right now, can verify their identity and set their signals. It establishes a universal set of rules for your digital footprint wherever it scatters across the web.
But that raises a massive critical dilemma.
Okay, what is it?
What happens when the signals conflict? Let's say I run a movie review website, I own the server, I use my RSL file to tell AI crawlers, yes, absolutely, you can crawl my review page and train your models on it.
Okay.
But that specific page features a high-resolution promotional photo of George Clooney. And George Clooney has his HCS registry set to a hard no. Which machine-readable signal wins? The server owner saying yes, or the human in the photo saying no?
That is the single biggest unresolved technical conflict in this entire ecosystem right now.
Really? Nobody knows.
Currently, RSL 1.0 requires clients to revalidate their discovery mechanisms. But there is no centralized arbiter that can automatically resolve those contradictory signals.
Oh, wow.
If an AI developer scrapes that page, sees a yes from the publisher, ignores the no from the human in the photo, and trains a model on it, well, who is legally liable? The publisher for offering it, or the AI company for taking it?
It sounds like a complete provenance nightmare. I mean, how can an AI even read an invisible watermark on a JPEG?
To solve that, the industry is desperately leaning on tools like C2PA,
What's that stand for?
the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity.
Okay.
C2PA is essentially cryptographically signed metadata.
Okay.
Think of it like a digital wax seal stamped onto a file the moment it is created by a camera or software.
I like that analogy.
This seal contains a tamper-proof history of who created it, what consent rules apply, and whether AI was used in its creation.
And if someone messes with it.
If anyone alters the image or tries to strip away those consent tags, the wax seal breaks. The AI system scanning it immediately knows the file has been tampered with and should be rejected.
But getting C2PA tracking, publisher RSL permissions, and human HCS consent to all talk to each other flawlessly, we aren't there yet.
Not quite, no.
And while the tech industry and Hollywood are trying to build these voluntary standards, global governments are looking at this mess and deciding they are just tired of waiting.
Very tight.
We are seeing a massive, aggressive transition right now from industry self-regulation to hard legal frameworks.
We are undoubtedly on a regulatory collision course. If we look at the United States, in March 2026, the White House released a national AI legislative framework.
Okay.
And the most immediate landscape-altering impact of this proposal is preemption.
I'm looking at this U.S. framework, and preemption essentially means it overrides state laws.
Yes, it does.
But why does that matter so much? Are tech companies actually lobbying for federal regulation just to escape strict state rules?
Yes, absolutely they are. Before this framework, the U.S. was developing a fractured patchwork of over 40 different state AI laws.
Oh, that's a mess.
California alone had 5 different laws covering everything from automated decision-making to synthetic deepfakes.
I can't even imagine the compliance costs.
For a technology business operating nationally, trying to comply with 50 different, sometimes contradictory state frameworks is a logistical nightmare.
Right.
The White House framework supersedes all of those to create a single, unified national standard. It provides regulatory certainty.
And it introduces a risk-here system, right? How do they actually decide what makes an AI model standard versus, high risk?
It categorizes the application of the model into 5 tiers. Tier 4 is considered high risk. This includes AI used in healthcare diagnostics, employment resume screening, credit underwriting, or housing allocations.
Basically the stuff that really matters.
Exactly. The reasoning is simple. If a chatbot hallucinates a weird recipe, it's annoying. If a biased AI algorithm denies you a mortgage or screens out your resume unfairly, it fundamentally damages your life.
So how does being in Tier 4 actually change the software development pipeline for these companies?
It grinds it to a halt. Under this framework, Tier 4 systems require extensive pre-deployment review by a federal agency.
Wow.
More importantly, it mandates human oversight before making a final adverse decision. You can no longer let an algorithm automatically reject a loan application. A human being must review the AI's logic.
But there's a carrot along with the stick here. The U.S. is trying to incentivize good behavior with the safe harbor provision.
Yes, the safe harbor is a brilliant market incentive. If a developer voluntarily follows rigorous safety standards developed by NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, and allows independent conformance testing, they receive a statutory safe harbor.
And what does that protect them from?
It protects them from certain massive private class action lawsuits. It encourages companies to proactively adopt standards rather than just hiding their algorithms until they get sued.
So the US is trying to incentivize good behavior with safe harbors, but the European Union is taking the complete opposite approach.
Oh, vastly different.
They aren't offering carrots. They are building a highly punitive system where non-compliance is a lethal financial threat to a business.
The EU AI Act is the gold standard for enforcement-heavy regulation. Specifically, Article 50, which deals with transparency obligations, becomes fully enforceable in August 2026.
And the penalties aren't a slap on the wrist. They start at 7.5 million euros, or 1.5% of a company's total global turnover.
Which terrifies corporate executives.
I bet.
Article 50 explicitly demands that AI-generated content must have machine-readable metadata manifests attached to it.
Wait, like the C2PA stuff we talked about?
Exactly. Remember that digital wax seal? The EU is effectively saying that adopting standards like C2PA is no longer just a good idea for provenance.
It's mandatory.
It is a strict legal requirement for any business placing an AI system into the European market. If your system strips that metadata or fails to apply it, you face that 7.5 million euro fine.
So what does this all mean? If you're a listener right now, maybe a small business owner, an independent creator, or just someone who uses AI tools every day at work, how do these global laws, these new XML files and these HTTP bouncers actually change your daily digital life?
This raises an important question about the shifting burden of responsibility. For creators and individuals, the era of being passive is over.
Yeah, you have to get involved.
The tools are finally being built to give you agency, but you have to actively use them. You will need to interact with these new registries, set your portable consent watermarks, and declare exactly how your data can be used. You have to claim and defend your digital territory.
And what about businesses using AI? Like, what do they need to do?
For businesses, the era of move fast and break things is officially dead. The burden is shifting heavily towards strict vendor due diligence.
So you can't just buy a tool and hope for the best.
Absolutely not. You can no longer blindly buy a third-party AI tool to draft marketing copy or screen resumes without interrogating it first. You need to know its risk tier.
Right.
You need to demand proof that its training data was lawfully licensed through systems like RSL. You must know if it complies with the EU AI Act's metadata rules.
Yeah.
Ignorance is no longer a defense. The legal liability is real, and it is immediate.
Okay, let's bring this all together. We have traversed a massive shift in the digital economy today. We started with the referral deficit, that fundamentally broken internet contract where AI starves human publishers of traffic and revenue.
Yeah.
We explored the technical solutions, the RSL standard and Cloudflare's HTTP 402 bouncers physically demanding micropayments before a bot can read a single word.
Incredible technology.
We saw Hollywood step into the ring with the human consent standard, treating human identity as a portable, cryptographically protected right. And finally, we explored how sweeping regulations from the White House and the EU are setting hard, multi-million-dollar legal boundaries to force compliance.
It is the awkward, messy, but completely necessary adolescence of the artificial intelligence era. We are finally migrating from a web of uncompensated extraction to a web of negotiated value.
And as we move toward this new agentic web, consider this. If every single piece of data, every likeness, and every article requires a financial microtransaction for an AI to simply read it, do we risk creating a deeply tiered internet?
That's the big worry.
Are we building a future where only the absolute wealthiest tech monopolies can afford to pay the massive toll booths to train the smartest models, leaving open source developers, researchers, and startups locked out of the library entirely?
There's a real possibility.
It's something for you to explore and debate as you watch these consent registries go live this June. Take a moment this week to look into how your own digital footprint is currently being used, and seriously consider reserving your own consent ID. Thank you for listening, and see you next time on A Side of Airs.